most terrifying corner on YouTube, where secrets and unsolved cases hide in the dark. Here we dive into the world of puzzles and brutal murders and bloody crimes, where we reveal the most horrifying cases and the latest investigations without leaving any terrifying details undiscovered. Get ready for the journey through the most evil aspects of our world, where deadly secrets await to be revealed. Subscribe now and join us in uncovering the secrets hidden in the dark, and don't miss a moment of this terrifying journey through the shadows. Scary story. What if you entered a haunted mansion, hoping for a thrill, but found yourself in a nightmare? What if you faced horrors beyond your imagination and had no way to escape? What if you became the prey of a dark force that wanted to consume your life? This is the story of 3 friends who dared to explore the McHenderson mansion and paid the ultimate price. This is a story of fear, mystery, and madness. This is a story that will make you question your sanity and your survival. They had heard the rumors, of course. Everyone in Willow's End had. The McHenderson mansion was a place of legend, a source of fear and fascination for the townsfolk. Some said it was haunted by the ghosts of the McHenderson family, who had mysteriously vanished one night, leaving behind a trail of blood and a house full of secrets. Others said it was cursed by an ancient evil, a dark force that lurked in its shadows, waiting for unsuspecting victims to enter its domain. And some said it was simply a decrepit old house, abandoned and forgotten by time, nothing more than a relic of a bygone era. But none of them knew the truth. None of them had ever set foot inside the mansion. None of them until now. Terrence, Chad, and Amy were 3 friends who shared a common trait. They loved a good thrill. They were always looking for new ways to challenge themselves, to test their limits, to experience something out of the ordinary. They had done it all: bungee jumping, skydiving, scuba diving, exploring abandoned buildings, camping in haunted woods. They were adrenaline junkies, always seeking the next rush. And that's how they ended up at the McHenderson mansion. It was the ultimate dare, the ultimate adventure. They had heard the stories, they had seen the pictures, they had felt the chills. They wanted to see for themselves what was inside the mansion, what secrets it hid, what horrors it held. They wanted to prove to themselves and to each other that they were not afraid, that they could handle anything. They had planned it for weeks, waiting for the right night, the right moment. They had packed their backpacks with flashlights, cameras, snacks, and water. They had told their parents they were going to a friend's house for a sleepover, a harmless lie. They had met at the edge of town, where the road ended and the forest began. They had walked for an hour, following the dirt path that led to the mansion. They had reached the iron gate that surrounded the property, finding it unlocked and slightly ajar. They had entered the grounds, feeling a sudden drop in temperature, a sudden silence in the air. They had approached the mansion, seeing its imposing shape looming over them, its windows dark and empty, its door inviting and ominous. They had hesitated, for a brief moment feeling a surge of fear, a pang of doubt. But they had shrugged it off, laughing nervously, reassuring each other. They had crossed the threshold, pushing the door open, hearing it creak loudly. They had stepped inside, shining their flashlights around, seeing the dust and cobwebs that covered everything. They had smiled, feeling a rush of excitement, a sense of wonder. They had begun their exploration, splitting up, agreeing to meet back at the entrance in an hour. They had no idea what they were getting into. They had no idea what awaited them. They had no idea that they had just entered a nightmare. Terence was the first to encounter something strange. He had wandered into the library, a large room filled with shelves of books, some of them ancient and rare, some of them rotting and torn. He had scanned the titles, looking for anything interesting, anything unusual. He had found a leather-bound tome with a gold-embossed cover that read The History of the Machenderson Family. He had opened it, curious, hoping to find some clues about the mansion's past. He had flipped through the pages, seeing the faded photographs, the handwritten notes, the family tree. He had stopped at a page that showed a portrait of the last Machendersons, a man, a woman, and 2 children, a boy and a girl. They looked happy, smiling, normal. He had read the caption below the picture, The Machenderson Family, 1923. The year of their disappearance. He had felt a chill, a shiver, a sense of dread. He had looked closer at the picture, noticing something odd, something unsettling. The eyes of the family members were not looking at the camera, not looking at him. They were looking at something behind him, something in the library, something that he could not see. He had turned around, slowly, nervously, expecting to see something, someone behind him. He had seen nothing, no one, just the empty shelves, the silent books, the dark corners. He had breathed a sigh of relief, a laugh of disbelief. He had convinced himself that it was nothing, just a trick of the light, just his imagination. He had turned back to the book, ready to close it, ready to move on. He had screamed, dropping the book, stumbling back. He had seen the picture change, the family's faces twist, their smiles turn to frowns, their eyes widen in terror. He had seen blood dripping from their mouths, their noses, their ears. He had seen the words on the page, written in red, written in blood, "We are still here. We are waiting for you." He had run, leaving the book, leaving the library, leaving his flashlight. He had run, looking for his friends, looking for a way out, looking for help. He had run, not knowing where he was going, not knowing what he was doing, not knowing what was happening. He had run until he reached a dead end, a wall, a door. He had run until he heard a voice, a whisper, a hiss. He had run until he felt a hand, a grip, a pull. He had run until he saw a face, a smile, a mouth. He had run until he felt a pain, a bite, a death. He had run until he was no more. Chad was the second to encounter something strange. He had wandered into the kitchen, a spacious room with a large fireplace, a wooden table, and a pantry full of food. He had felt hungry, thirsty, tired. He had decided to take a break, to rest, to eat. He had opened the pantry, expecting to find nothing but mold and maggots. He had found a feast, a banquet, a miracle. He had seen the shelves stocked with fresh bread, cheese, meat, fruit, wine, and more. He had smelled the aroma, the fragrance, the temptation. He had felt his mouth water, his stomach growl, his will weaken. He had ignored the warning, the voice, the instinct. He had ignored the fact that the food was too good to be true, too fresh to be real, too perfect to be safe. He had ignored the possibility that the food was a trap, a bait, a poison. He had ignored everything except his hunger, his thirst, his desire. He had grabbed a loaf of bread, a chunk of cheese, a bottle of wine. He had sat at the table, spreading a cloth, setting a plate, pouring a glass. He had eaten, drank, enjoyed. He had felt satisfied, happy, content. He had not noticed the change, the shift, the transformation. He had not noticed that the food was not what it seemed, not what it tasted, not what it was. He had not noticed that the bread was stale, the cheese was rotten, the wine was vinegar. He had not noticed that the food was laced with something sinister, something deadly. He had not noticed that the food was killing him, slowly, painfully. He had noticed, too late, the effect, the symptom, the consequence. He had noticed when he felt a sharp pain in his stomach, a burning sensation in his throat, a numbness in his limbs. He had noticed when he saw blood on his lips, bile on his tongue, worms in his teeth. He had noticed when he heard a laugh, a cackle, a taunt. He had noticed when he looked up, seeing a figure, a woman, a witch. He had noticed when he recognized her, the portrait, the painting, the lady of the house. He had tried to scream, to run, to fight. He had tried, but he was too weak, too sick, too late. He had tried, but he was no match, no threat, no challenge. He had tried, but he was doomed, defeated, dead. He had tried, but he was no more. Amy was the last to encounter something strange. She had wandered into the nursery, a cozy room with a crib, a rocking chair, and a toy chest. She had felt curious, intrigued, nostalgic. She had decided to explore, to look, to play. She had opened the toy chest, hoping to find something fun, something cute, something old. She had found a doll, a porcelain doll, a beautiful doll. She had seen its delicate features, its rosy cheeks, its curly hair. She had felt its smooth skin, its soft dress, its tiny shoes. She had heard its voice, its giggle, its name. She had loved it, instantly, unconditionally, irrationally. She had loved it, like a child, like a friend, like a sister. She had loved it, forgetting everything, forgetting her friends, forgetting herself. She had loved it, holding it, hugging it, talking to it. She had loved it, playing with it, dressing it, naming it. She had loved it more than anything, more than anyone, more than life. She had not realized the danger, the risk, the trap. She had not realized that the doll was not a toy, not a friend, not a sister. She had not realized that the doll was a weapon, a tool, a parasite. She had not realized that the doll was stealing her mind, her soul, her body. She had not realized that the doll was replacing her thoughts, her feelings, her memories. She had not realized that the doll was becoming her identity, her personality, her existence. She had realized too late the truth, the horror, the fate. She had realized when she felt a coldness in her heart, a blankness in her mind, a stiffness in her limbs. She had realized when she saw her reflection, her face, her eyes, her smile. She had realized when she heard a scream, a cry, a plea. She had realized when she looked down, seeing a body, a corpse, a friend. She had realized when she recognized her, the victim, the sacrifice, the host. She had tried to resist, to fight, to escape. She had tried, but she was too late, too far, too gone. She had tried, but she was no longer herself, no longer human, no longer alive. She had tried, but she was only a doll, a porcelain doll, a beautiful doll. She had tried, but she was no more. Thank you for joining us for this spine-tingling story. We hope you found it both thrilling and thought-provoking. If you enjoyed this video, please consider participating in our channel by subscribing, liking, and sharing it with your friends. Your support goes a long way in helping us create more engaging content for you. Goodbye, and may you always tread carefully in the world of the unknown.